This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Do you take this woman as your lawful wedded wife? Place the ring on her finger and repeat after me. With this ring, I thee wed.
Hello and welcome to With This Ring number 17. I'm your co-host Brian Everett.
I'm your co-host Cindy Everett.
And today we will be wrapping a bow on the GWCW list. A little earlier than, I think it was June, we finished the GWWE list, so
True.
a little quicker this time around, but we're going to stick in the WCW realm for other projects that are going on. And tonight we'll be looking at the 5 matches of my top 20 that we have not looked at yet.
Got it. So, have we looked at the other 15?
Yes.
Okay, so this rounds out your top 20.
Well, there's actually a couple, but we'll discuss that as we go.
Okay. You spend a lot of time on these rankings.
Oh, yeah. I mean, being locked down helped
That's
a lot.
true. That's a good point. It was a good side project.
Yes, it helped. I did watch more than I probably would have if I had to go to work.
Okay, yeah, good point. Fair enough. Okay.
And so the first match was Ricky Steamboat versus defending his world title against Ric Flair at Wrestle War Music City Showdown. It had 2 names.
Interesting.
From the Nashville Municipal Auditorium in Nashville, Tennessee, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the third match. So they had the match in February at the Chi-Town Rumble that we watched.
Yep.
They also had a match at Clash of the Champions in April that is also very high in my rankings, but it's an hour long.
Oh, really?
So I figured that might be a bit long for you.
It would.
That's like
would.
That's the Masters class. You're still getting your
I'm getting my gen eds out of the way still.
So maybe some other time.
Maybe you can save that for the guys all can do a live watch or something.
Maybe. But
thank you for not subjecting me to that.
Still a very good match, but
an hour?
Well, I think it's actually 58 minutes.
Okay. Well, regardless, it's not the one we watched.
Right. 55 minutes. Oh, that's nothing. So the match we watched though was kind of slated as their final because Ricky Steamboat won the first one, and then the April one was 2 out of 3 falls, and they each won 1 fall, and then the third fall, Rick Steamboat won, but Ric Flair's leg was under the ropes, so they had to have a final rematch.
Oh, Lord, okay.
And that's what this was. And it goes 31 minutes, 37 seconds, so very long.
It was on the long side. I think entrance-wise, I think Ric Flair wins if you're judging off. I guess it depends on what you're...
Yeah, it depends what you're going for. I mean,
right.
Ric Flair has...
Your demographic.
He has the 6 women that he walks out with, but there's also 40 women flanking the main aisle.
He has a lot of women. And Ricky Steamboat has his son on a pony.
Yep.
Who came up with that idea? Do you know?
Probably the mom.
That's right. Crazy. She was kind of like a stage mom.
Yeah, and that is quite the entrance that he makes there. And also he's got it's kind of like a red Elvis suit on.
Yeah, like a little I don't know what they were going for. How old is that kid now?
I mean, he's probably 33 or so. He was born in 87.
All right, yeah.
Yep. So
does he have any sort of online presence?
He wrestled for a while. He was in the early days of NXT.
Oh, okay.
But then eventually kind of I think he was one of those people that had he couldn't really break out of just being Ricky Steamboat's son.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's a long shadow to get out of.
Yeah.
Are you looking up his son?
Yeah.
Richie.
Yeah, so he wrestled as Richie Steamboat.
Yeah.
And
that's not a good start to distance yourself from your dad.
Right.
He's the same stage name.
Yeah. So, he was in NXT through 2013. And then he had like he had a back injury that kind of put him on the back burner, and yeah, it doesn't really say what is.
I like this one, though. In my notes, I said, after I wrote very bizarre entrances, I said, and actually I think you said this right after I did when we were watching, it's very technical, very physical. It's a lot of chops and slaps and arm bars. It's not, I said antithesis of a luchador match.
Yes.
Basically. Not a lot of jumps, not a lot of moves off the ropes.
I think Steamboat
a couple,
goes
but
up every once in a while.
Not as much as, like,
right. Yeah.
Rey Mysterio or some other match. Even Macho Man did a lot of, would have matches where he just kind of like go up and up and up and up and up.
Yeah.
So, no, it was good. It was a little long. I think my it's definitely slightly longer than my attention span.
Did you like how they kept going back to what the judges?
Oh, that's right. That didn't really make any sense. I mean, there's always a reason why they have a gimmick. But...
Right. Well, I think you thought it was going to go a full hour also in this one.
Did, yeah, because the way that was, what was the premise again? It was up to an hour.
It was an hour time limit, but it wouldn't be a draw. It would go to a judge's decision.
Right.
There's no winner.
So usually when they allude to things like that, I guess in my limited experience, usually goes to that conclusion. So I thought for sure.
Judges of WCW.
Exactly. I was like, crap, this is going to be an hour. And they're just judging it totally arbitrarily.
Yes.
It's just like 400 points for Steamboat. No, 350 for Flair. So
at various points, you told me to give a star, 10 points, a thumbs up.
We'll see if there's a legend or something in the back of the notebook.
This is notebook that I brought.
Exactly. So, but that's what didn't come to that. But Terry Funk caused some problems at the end.
So at the end, it's a Ric Flair wins with a roll up, which is kind of fitting because that's how Ricky Steamboat won matches. You know, It's not like a huge finisher. It's just shows that at that moment he was the better man, not like completely.
Gotcha.
So it kind of leaves the.
It's more like momentum than anything. It seems
and it kind
like
of
versus
leaves the door open for a rematch. Like you just were able to get lucky that one time. I could have.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was more denigrated when it came to finishers.
Well, I mean, it's more if you knock someone out, it's more definitive than.
That's
if
true.
You get a roll up.
That's a good point. Nope.
So.
What?
Okay, so yeah, so.
You go through the mental Rolodex there?
So the match ends, and then afterwards, Jim Ross is having an interview with Ric Flair, and I think Ric Flair and Steamboat, I think they shake hands.
They did.
Yeah, because this is like, because it's weird. Ric Flair in February was definitely the heel, and then in April, it's kind of like he's still the heel just because Ricky Steamboat isn't a heel.
Gotcha.
And even kind of here, but here he doesn't even really cheat or anything. I think he might like pull the tights or something, but it's not like 1987 dastardly heel Ric Flair.
Right. Was Ricky Steamboat ever a heel?
Not really.
I can't really see him.
Not like under his, maybe like when he was starting in like the mid 70s, but even then I think he was then he was like the heartthrob, so they wouldn't want to make him a heel then.
Ooh, do a picture of 1970s Ricky Steamboat?
Could find 1978 Ricky Steamboat. Well, I don't have permission
broke your
Google
computer.
to look that up, apparently.
Ooh, so really racy.
No.
All right. Well,
Google does not allow me to look at that. Google does not want me looking at 1988 Ric Flair.
Yeah, he keeps getting the 404 error message when he tries to Google 1978 Ricky Steamboat.
Makes sense.
All right. Well, don't break your computer. Let's just keep going.
All right. So Terry Funk comes in the ring though, and first he's like, "Oh, Rick, that was a great match. I'm really impressed." Then he kind of jokes like, "Oh, I'd like to be a next #1 contender," and Ric Flair kind of tells him off like, Terry, you were a great wrestler, but now you're making movies. You're not really."
Terry Funk was making movies?
Yeah, he was in Over the Top, the classic arm wrestling movie.
Oh yeah,
he was also in the Patrick Swayze movie.
Dirty Dancing?
No. Roadhouse.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Yes. Is like a bodyguard.
Gotcha.
Or like Thug is his credited name.
Nice.
But so then Terry Funk's like, "Oh, I was just joking, Rick. Don't get all hot on me." And then Ric Flair goes back to the interview and Terry Funk attacks him and beats the crap out of him, including a pile driver on a table, not through a table.
Oh, that's right. There are so many very dangerous moves this week.
Yes.
Starting with that.
Yeah, that does not look good. And
no.
No. It really helps to sell that Ric Flair had a broken neck at one point, that it's easy to see how this could.
Yeah, and poorly. Yeah, absolutely. Oof. But
so, yeah.
Good. Yeah, like I said, overall good one. I like this one. Excuse me.
And then to continue with this storyline.
Kind of transitions.
But different matches, I would say pretty.
Yeah, this one was very bloody.
Friendly.
Yeah.
Yes, Ric Flair versus Terry Funk at the Great American Bash 1989 in Baltimore.
Once again, lots of hitting and slapping and punching. And yeah, Terry Funk's not like a fancy boy, I think, when it comes to elaborate moves. He's just a bruiser.
Yeah, he will just go at it all the way. And it's like that from the guy. I think, they like meet each other in the aisle. Yeah, they're fighting the whole time.
Away. Yeah.
And then it goes back and forth. It's about a 15-minute match, I think. It's not very long.
No. But this is where how'd the Brandon Iron even come out? I forget.
Well, Terry Funk brought that out.
That's like his cowboy gear.
His
cowboy regalia.
Had a branding iron, so it just at one point it's slipped to him by Gary Hart.
Okay.
And he blasts Ric Flair with it in.
They both use it a couple times.
Yeah.
It was always I don't know, like it was almost too forced. It was like, get the referee distracted and bam, bam, bam.
Although when Ric Flair's swinging it, he is not taking any mustard off those shots. He is laying it in.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, this only goes 17:23. So
okay, that sounds right. Yeah, they both were bleeding, smacking each other with the Brandon Iron. Yeah, I wrote pretty quick. There was no like dramatic build up. I feel like I've watched enough of these. You kind of get like
it's
rhythm and the flow. There was no like huge build up to the ending here.
And Terry Funk hits a pile driver, but then he like kind of just walks around, and I think Ric Flair gets his arm under the rope to break it. And then he kind of goes for one on the outside, but that doesn't work. It never works when you try to pile drive someone on the outside.
What do you mean on the outside?
Like outside the ring with the mats pulled up.
Oh, yeah.
You might as well just take a back body drop right away because that's what's going to happen. And then, or maybe you'll get lucky and someone will get slingshotted.
Oh, maybe.
So then,
I've seen a good slingshot in a while.
And because this is another one that ends with a roll up. I think it's Ric Flair.
Is it a roll up?
Ric Flair goes for the figure four, and Terry Funk like rolls him up, and then Ric Flair reverses it.
Yeah, but then there was also like nut stuff after the bell.
Yeah, so after the match, the Great Muta comes out.
That's right, the Great. How could I forget the name? I knew it was like the green poison.
He spits the poison mist at
That's so stupid. Flair. Did he actually ever do that in matches? Or,
oh yeah.
Like how often?
Like pretty much every match.
So he probably wasn't in that many matches. It's kind of gimmicky, even for WCW.
I mean, it would poison the guy.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't his finisher though.
Oh.
Then he'd do something else. He did a moonsault.
Oh, okay.
Which in 1989 was
that's pretty good. So why have to have like a weird poison breath gimmick if he was a good wrestler?
Because he's Japanese.
Oh.
Duh.
No, we're not going there.
Well, that's what it was though. Like, he wasn't the first Japanese guy that had poison mist.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that like a thing?
Kabuki had it
for
years.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know poison mist was such a thing with Japanese wrestlers.
Yeah, they could get it in their glands or something.
Uh-huh. Yeah, when's the last time that happened?
Tajiri was doing it like 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's still...
All right, I stand corrected.
Oh, yeah, poison mist is a very deadly substance.
Sure.
You don't want to mess around with that.
Yeah, well, and then Ric Flair looked insane by the end when he was doing the interview, and he had the top half of his head's covered in blood, the bottom half of his face is covered in green mist.
And it's all like very sweaty 40-year-old man mixed into it.
Yeah. That was a look.
And then after the Great Muta comes out, Sting comes out because he was
too much.
The Great Muta, so they have Sting and Ric Flair have their moment of deciding to team up to take on the heels, and then they just keep brawling like in the back. Like there's like 3 or 4 times where you think it's over, and just all of a sudden either Terry Funk or Ric Flair just jumps at the other one.
Yeah, did they not know like to wrap it up or like
to
go on
kind of
like What happened there? It seems like there's some sort of miscommunication.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not like they were running out of time. So, I don't know, really. They just kind of didn't have a natural end to it.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
WCW really hadn't figured it out yet. Like, WWF, no matter what was going on, the pay-per-view was going to end with Hulk Hogan posing. So they
didn't have an equivalent in WCW?
Yet. No, like, Sting was probably who they wanted it to be, but he wasn't quite there yet. Ric Flair's not going to pose.
No.
Just bring random women out, I guess, would be his thing.
Yep. Okay. Fair enough. But yeah, it kind of had an awkward ending there.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
All right. I got some more games.
Yep. So the first War Games we watched.
Oh my God, this is the other painful looking pile driver.
Yes.
Poor Brian Pillman.
Yes. So it's the Four Horsemen of Ric Flair, Barry Windham, Sid Vicious, and Larry Zbyszko subbing for Arn Anderson. Okay. Not official member of the Four Horsemen.
Oh, okay.
A sub. Against Sting, Brian Pillman, and the Steiner brothers.
Yep. And
where did the Steiner brothers go to college?
I think they went to Ohio State.
Yes.
Yeah, it was very prominent.
They're very subtle with
that. This is where Barry Windham they sewer bloody right away.
Yeah, he got really cut up, and it's just all over the mat.
Yeah, like right out of the gate, it was just woof. But then I made a comment at the very beginning that the ceiling was really low, and you were like, "Oh, that comes back."
Yes, and it does. It is. I mean, we talk about the other one, but this one, it couldn't have been more than 8.5 feet.
Yeah, and I think both of them looked about the same height. And
I mean, Sid's 6'10".
Oh wow, okay.
So, and obviously he couldn't put his arms straight up, as we see eventually. So.
Yeah, when did they take the lid off, the top gate off of War Games?
Just when it started with WWF.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, because I remember when we went.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was over a year ago now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when they started with WWF, though, they always had at least one guy in the match that they'd want to do a spot off the top.
Right.
So, I mean, it made
sense. It makes sense. And the way they did it in WCW was the stupider way.
But then it was, it started, it was the Four Horsemen versus Dusty, the Road Warriors, and Nikita Koloff. So it's not like they were doing jumps off the top of the cage.
Good point. Yeah.
I mean, it's different. Plus, just what people expect now in different types of gimmick match. If you were going to have a cage match now, in the 70s and stuff, it was just throwing the guy and beating him up. Now, if you don't do something off the top, people would be like, well, what was the point of that?
Right, yeah. The bar keeps getting raised.
Yep.
No, this is, bloody, low ceiling. Oh, there was a weird, group figure 4 move.
Yeah, all the faces get the heels in the figure 4. And then eventually, one of the heels is able to rake one guy's face, and then they all just kind of help for each other.
Devolves again.
Yeah. So then, what happens at the end of this one?
Brian Pillman almost gets his head popped off.
Yep.
I can't remember who puts him up in a pile. Sid Vicious, but because the ceiling's so low, it looked horrible. Oh, I was cringing. And then as I was freaking out over that, El Gigante runs out, I guess, to replace. Well, I was half screaming, half watching.
Yeah.
I think they said he was going to replace Brian Pillman, but then
he
the ref was just no, it's done.
He's the one they say that he submitted for him.
Oh, okay.
I think he was supposed to throw in a towel, but he forgot his towel or something maybe.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he actually picks him up for the powerbomb. As he's lifting him, his legs hit the top of the cage.
That's what happens.
So Sid just kind of drops him.
Ugh.
And then most people would have been like, oh, okay, that's bad. Nope, Sid picks him up and tries to do it again.
Yeah, that's really bad.
And this time, at least, he kind of pulls him onto his shoulder.
Right.
But he still does it very awkwardly.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
No.
Well, Sid is a lot of things, but
not
smartest wrestler is not one of them.
Not the sharpest tool in the shed.
No, he is not, unfortunately.
That would be scary for Brian Pillman, too.
Yeah.
I would be
I mean, he was okay.
Yeah, is he still alive? He's still alive, right?
No, he died.
Brian Pillman?
Yeah, he died in 1997.
Oh, well, then he was not okay.
Well, it wasn't that killed him, though.
What killed him? Drug overdose?
Drug overdose.
Oh, okay.
Painkillers.
Oh, okay.
Heart attack.
Well, I wonder why he had to take so many painkillers.
Well, it's probably because the year before he flipped his Humvee like 6 times and destroyed his ankle to the point where he probably at least should have never walked again. Definitely could have died in the car accident.
Well, then it didn't help.
I'm sure I'm sure every once in a while he still woke up with a little crick in his neck from Sid Vicious.
Ugh. Yeah, so that was hard to watch.
And this is a historic thing because it is the first time in 18 war games that the heels actually win.
Okay.
And that just goes to tell you that something was messed up in the finish because they never won except for this one.
Yeah, that was... Well, yeah. I mean, that was Sid Vicious. I can't believe he did that. Poor Brian Pillman.
Poor Brian Pillman.
Yeah.
Poor Pinkus. All right, and we'll take a little break real quick.
All right.
Get back.
Got back with 2 more matches.
Yep. Before we get back, real quick, we're going to run down all the great things that you can be listening to on the PTB Wrestling Network. Check out our Place to Be Wrestling Network store and show off your favorite podcast logo on great merchandise like t-shirts, hoodies, and more. Just go to www.tpublic.com and type PTBW in the search.
Marty and Matt are back for Pro Wrestling Love in part 3 of their top 25 shoot-style matches of all time.
Neil Trauma and Dave Thakara have episode 3 of Craw Chronology, a show-by-show walkthrough of Raw, and they discuss Ric Flair, Rob Bartlett, the Royal Rumble build, and more.
On the newest NWA Saturday special, Scott and Dr. G continue to count down their top 100 GWCW matches with number 40 through 31.
On episode 167 of the main event, Brandon Thurston joins the guys to discuss WWE's year of 2020 in the bank, what 2021 has in store for streaming, plus reviews, previews, and more.
Talkin' WCW is back. Tim, Jenny, and Greg are back discussing the highlight matches of one Lord Steven Regal.
Please rate, review, and subscribe. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Just search for Place to Be Wrestling Network.
Check out our other feeds on our quad of pods.
The PTB Pop experience is all about pop culture. We have the best in TV, movies, comics, trivia shows, and much more.
Jennifer Smith is always in the Jenny position with her unique takes on pop culture and life. Her feed is loaded with great reviews, great shows ranging from movies, books, Marvel, and more.
Join JT Rosero, Aaron George, and Chan Campbell for great shows on wrestling, comics, and more with the North-South Connection feed. Check out the histories of WWE, TNA, and other great wrestling topics and takes.
Glenn and Scott Butler are continuing their spectacular journey through music, films, and more on the Non-Toxic Fanboys podcast, where they try to enjoy the things they love. Find them at Non-Toxic-Fanboys on Twitter, nontoxicfanboys.com, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
And make sure to join our rejuvenated Place to Be discussion group on Facebook. Go to Face to Be, look up Place to Be, and request an invite. Discussions and fun with wrestling, movies, tournaments, and all forms of pop culture.
Our 2021 stretch project is determining the greatest NWA/WCW wrestler of all time. Go to facebook.com/GWCW matches and join the group to discuss nominees.
Be sure to check out PlaceToBeNation.com each and every day. We have new voices and fresh takes bringing you articles on topics in the worlds of wrestling, sports, and pop culture, including Trent's SmackDown on Fox Report, This Week in the WWE by John Crow, Paulie's Perspective, Ben's Unpopular Opinion, and Matt's Disney live-action journey.
And if you're doing a little online shopping from Amazon, be sure to click on the banner on the right side of the Place to Be Nation homepage, or use www.placetobenation.com/Amazon, and it takes you right to Amazon and helps out PTBN with no cost to you.
All right, and we'll get back to the show. All right, and welcome back. And next, going down our list of the 2 1991 matches that we have here.
Yep. Yeah, this one is Lex Luger and Sting versus the Steiner brothers.
Yep, for the tag team titles held by the Steiners.
Okay.
Yeah, and this one's it's kind of an odd match. It was just like the Steiners are the tag champs, so obviously the best tag team. And then Sting and Lex Luger were like the two biggest faces that were also just didn't have anything to do that night. So they participate in this. And then, like, Sting had been with the Steiners 2 months earlier in the War Games match. So they were friends, but...
Not that good of friends.
Yeah, they wanted to compete.
And I feel like we didn't watch a lot of Lex Luger matches. I thought he was more prominent.
He was, but great matches weren't really his thing.
Gotcha.
Like, it's kind of weird with him. He's got good matches here and there, but, like, the really great matches he didn't have too often.
Okay.
I think would be the easiest.
I think I most know him as being the person with Miss Elizabeth. Right.
That was not a good moment.
No, not
not a great match.
No, I was just going to say, completely different subject matter. It's Scott and Rick Steiner, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah. So I said moves with Luger and Rick are a little stunted. Yeah, this one I think was a little bit of a slow start.
Yeah.
This is also, we watched this the morning our kids got up at like 4:30 in the morning and didn't fall back asleep. So
true.
I was very tired when we watched this.
Yes, that's true.
But it was short, and I said it was getting good, and then a Russian comes out and hits Sting.
Yep. Yep, that's right.
What?
So, yeah.
A lot of outside people running around in these matches.
Yeah.
Is that like a common thing for your top 20, or I'd like to hear that about.
Kind of.
I'd like to hear more about that from you.
I mean, I think like when that happens, there's usually a story reason for it.
Is there really?
Yeah, like this was.
The Great Moolah was his reason for coming out, or
well, he was also managed by Gary Hart, so he was teammates with Terry Funk.
Oh, okay, that seems kind of weak. But
and I mean, Ric Flair's the champion, so maybe he wants a title match down the line.
What's his name? It's not the Great Moolah.
The Great Muta.
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 Gotcha. Anyways.
So in this, it's Nikita Koloff, and he had started a feud with Lex Luger like a couple months before when they were having Lex Luger was the United States champion, and they made a new belt. And since Nikita Koloff was an old U.S. champion, they had him be the one to give the belt to Lex Luger. But while he was doing that, he attacked him.
Of course. Yeah, I don't think he's going to give up a belt voluntarily.
Well, it wasn't like he wasn't the champ or anything.
No, still, if you're holding a belt, you don't give it to someone else.
They thought he had. So anyways, so he was feuding with Lex Luger going into this. And he runs out with the chain around his arm.
Yep.
To try and hit Lex Luger, but Sting pushes Luger out of the way.
Gotcha.
And he gets clobbered with it, with the chain clothesline.
Well, that was nice of Sting.
Yeah.
Well, not nice of him, but that's what happened, I guess.
So, yeah, and this one, I think, I see what you talk about, like the slow start, but it's like 2 minutes, and then after that, it's like just nothing but throwing big moves at them, like German suplexes.
Yeah, that's true.
And like, there's not even like punches or kicks, it's just all moves.
I feel like I should watch this one again.
Yeah, I really, and it's like you said,
I think this is going to be high on your list.
Yeah, they're all in the top 20,
I know.
But yeah, there's like no chin locks or anything like that. It's just big bang, boom, 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 boom until the very end when a crazy Russian runs out.
Yeah, that's the thing. I guess I like when there's less distractions.
Yeah. Well, a match like this, though, you kind of figure something screwy is going to happen because the Steiner brothers probably aren't going to lose the tag titles to a non-team, but you're not going to have Rick Steiner clean pin Sting, probably.
Okay, fair enough. That makes sense to me now that I've watched so many of these.
Yes.
Then we do another War Games, 1992.
Finish it up with War Games, 1992. Wrestle War Games. The subtitle of this.
Wrestle War?
Yes.
That doesn't really roll off the tongue.
Wrestle War Games? You don't like it? All right,
really.
So this is Sting's Squadron, which is Sting, Barry Windham, Dustin Rhodes, Ricky Steamboat, and they've put their problems behind them. Nikita Koloff and Sting are friends now.
Oh, okay.
That's
why thank God.
That's why he kind of comes in the ring kind of oddly.
Oh,
like when he first enters. They kind of are unsure about each other, and then they...
That's right, yeah.
Then they clothesline Steve Austin, and capitalism and communism could reunite for that.
Exactly, yeah.
For that good cause against the Dangerous Alliance.
Rocky beat communism like a couple years before,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. But
Not on the small screen.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So the Dangerous
Dangerous
Alliance,
Alliance.
led by Paulie Dangerously, of course. Mm-hmm. And Medusa.
Yep, of course. AKA Paul Heyman.
Yep.
Very weird to see him.
With hair.
Yeah. And even then he was balding.
Oh, yeah. And he was like, I doubt he was 30 here. Let's see. 65. Yeah, he was, oh my God. Yeah, he was like 27 years old.
All right. Well, you've seen my brother was pretty much bald by now.
Yeah, but your brother doesn't look like that.
That's true. Good point.
So, yes, Steve Austin, Rick Rude, Arn Anderson, Bobby Eaton, and Larry Zbyszko. And at this time, Steve Austin was the TV champ. Rick Rude was the U.S. champ. And Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton had just lost the tag titles. So they were the big team to go. And Sting was the world champ. So they were all most of the gold was in this match.
I was going to ask like how they cobbled these teams together.
Yeah, it was, well, the Dangerous Alliance was like Paulie's faction that he had put together over like the last 5 or 6 months. And then like every week they just had like a 6-man tag featuring 3 of those guys against 3 top faces. And then the next week a tag match. And then Sting versus, Arn Anderson, or Rick Rude versus Ricky Steamboat was a big feud. So they just had all these different combinations until finally they like, okay, Dangerous Alliance, Sting, Ricky Steamboat, and then like Dustin Rhodes, Barry Windham, and Nikita Koloff were kind of like the next 3 guys on the pecking order.
Gotcha. Well, this is another bloody one.
Yes, this is very bloody.
And probably the grossest part is like they zoomed in on Barry Windham freaking biting
Steve
Austin's bloody head.
Right after he'd thrown him into the cage about 5 times.
Like, that's gross. That's really unsanitary.
Yes.
And just like what they said beforehand, like, okay, Steve, I'm going to like bite your open wound. And
Probably.
he's like, all right.
Yeah, why not? It's a War Games. There's no rules.
Why did Barry Windham think that was a good idea?
Oh, he's second-generation wrestler, so he grew up with it. And
just normal
didn't
around.
think anything about it.
Normal around the Windham house.
And do you know who Barry Windham's nephew is? Currently wrestling?
Give me a hint.
Lantern?
Oh, Bray Wyatt?
Yeah.
That was a good hint.
Yep.
I wasn't going to get it without a hint.
Yeah. He's actually named, his real name is Wyndham Rotunda.
Wait, what?
His real name.
Bray Wyatt?
Bray Wyatt's birth name is Wyndham Rotunda.
Rotunda? Like fat?
No, Rotunda was his dad, Mike Rotundo. IRS, the guy with the tie.
Oh, IRS is his dad?
Yeah.
So Barry Windham and IRS are brothers?
Brother-in-law.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's some like wrestling family tree out there. You could probably.
Oh yeah, I mean, nothing's as confusing as the Samoans.
Oh,
they're all interrelated.
Right.
Except for poor old Samoa Joe.
Really?
He gets no love.
He's not even wrestling anymore.
No, he's announcing.
Yeah, well, good for him. That's
it's
a good
better,
gig. Yeah, it's
better for your health.
Exactly. So, all right, but this isn't. Well, and this is another one that was kind of weird. Well, the faces do win, so I guess they got that part squared away. But then they had Medusa get on the ceiling.
Yeah,
to drop a cell phone in the ring.
Yeah, I don't know what I mean. Like, I get the point of it because they wanted to get the cell phone to the heels, and apparently wouldn't fit through the cage on the side. Just had to go up top.
She could have tossed it in when they opened the cage.
Yeah, that also.
But
I think that's one that they like talked about backstage. Like, oh yeah, that'll be a good spot. And then like when they got up there, like you were saying, she's almost falling through the roof is sagging for her.
Oh yeah.
And I have a feeling Sting was supposed to do something to stop her, but he like just stands on the roof and kind of yells. He doesn't walk out.
He sees it bowing with her. He's like, that thing's
150 pounds more than her, so
right. Yeah,
it probably wouldn't have ended well. Yeah. So that's the kind of one odd quirk in this match, I would say. I do love how before the match and even as it's going on, Paul Heyman has his huge spreadsheet of what we're going to do.
Plan.
If we get the advantage, you're going to go in. And then if we don't get the advantage, we got to work him to this corner.
He's a good actor. You got to give it to him. He's got a good presence.
Yes.
Like he's
makes
a
you
character.
believe
Oh yeah. He plays that character.
Planning something.
He's very convincing.
And as always, of course, the heels win the coin toss because you don't want the faces, they have the advantage. It's just
Right.
not good storytelling.
No. So yeah, this was. I don't remember how. I didn't write down how this one ended. I forget.
Okay, so from the point Ric Flair gets in, or Rick Rude gets in, I think he's the second guy in for the heels. He's continuously trying to get the turnbuckle.
Oh, that's right. Oh, now I remember.
So
yeah.
throughout the match, the heels keep wrenching it and trying to get it undone. They finally do, and Bobby Eaton is holding Sting, and Larry Zbyszko swings.
That's right.
And Sting moves, so he hits Bobby Eaton with the steel post.
Right.
And then right away, the other faces come and hold Larry Zbyszko back, and Sting just puts on like an arm bar.
Right.
But that's enough because his arm was destroyed by this steel ring post.
Of course, that's right. I do remember that, them battling with that over in the corner. But this War Games is slightly more organized than the other one. Which
you'll see in my
Oh, okay.
rankings.
Yeah.
All right, so first you go ahead and
1, 2, 3, 4,
these
5. Okay, there's only 5.
Yeah. How would you?
Like I said, I think I got to rewatch that short one.
Yeah.
Because that one I didn't really remember. I don't know. I liked the first one.
Okay. Flair versus
I'll put that as my number 1.
Okay.
I will put the last War Games as my number 2.
Okay.
They're oh come on, my phone keeps auto creating lists. All is number 1. Let's see what else. I did like the other War Games too. I'll put that at number 3.
3. Okay.
Except for the ending. Yeah, I mean, I'll put number 4 at the Ric Flair Terry Funk, and like I said, I'll do this tag team match at 5, but that's probably worth a rewatch. The Luger Sting versus Steiners.
I mean, I think personally it is. I think the 5th out of these 5 matches for me.
All right.
Let's see.
Let's hear. I want to hear yours now.
All right. So
you put a lot more thought into yours than me.
Should I give you all the matches? Should I just read my top 20?
Just read the 5 we talked about.
Okay.
Oh, so, then do. Yeah, just the 5 we talked about.
Okay. So of the 5 we talked about, I actually had Ric Flair versus Terry Funk at number 20.
Okay.
So it just snuck in there.
Okay.
And then next I had, at 15, I had Steiner Brothers versus Lex Luger and Sting.
Okay.
And then at 14, I had the Four Horsemen versus Sting, Brian Pillman, and the Steiner Brothers War Games.
Okay. Yep.
And then, so where did I put? At number 9, I had Ric Flair versus Ricky Steamboat.
Oh, okay.
But I will say, I have all 3 Ric Flair versus Ricky Steamboat matches in the top 10.
Really? Okay.
And they're all, the order of them, though,
Gotcha.
could change.
So 30% of your top 10 is
yes.
Ricky Steamboat. Okay.
Yep. And then number 1 overall, and number 1 out of this list was Sting Squadron versus the Dangerous Alliance.
Really?
Yep.
That's your number 1 of all WCW?
I feel that's the best WCW match.
Really? Yeah. Why is that? I have to go into more detail.
Well, I think War Games is a very WCW match.
Thing. That's true.
That's
points for it right there.
It's points for that, and I think it's the best version of the War Games.
What do you mean?
Out of all the War Game matches, I think this is the best one.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And
so the best version, that meant there was different rules or
no, just the best
instance
of it.
Okay.
And then also just this is one where it's kind of weird. I didn't see this match live, but this was when I first started watching WCW, so I knew of it kind of.
Okay.
The Blockbuster didn't have WCW videos, unfortunately, so I think the first time I saw this match was probably 2002 or something.
Oh, really?
I downloaded it off of Kaza or something where it took
Kaza. I remember
7 hours to download a 25-minute match.
Yep.
But then, I was like, oh, this is really good. And then eventually, when torrents became more of a thing and I could watch more old wrestling, it shot up even further.
Expanded your horizons.
Yeah. And I think the Dangerous Alliance is great. And just, this is their best moment. Yep.
All right. What can you just do your top 10 maybe?
Sure. So at 10, I had the Outsiders and Hulk Hogan versus Lex Luger, Sting, and Randy Savage from Bash at the Beach with the NWO forms.
Oh, yeah.
The match itself is okay, but it's the most important match in WCW history.
Pivotal. I can't talk.
Pivotal?
The pivotal moment, not the pivotable.
Pivotable.
Take off the B and then E.
It's like the Hulk Hogan versus Andre, but a better match.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense.
And then 9, Ric Flair versus Ricky Steamboat from Russell were the one we talked about. And then Sting versus Vader from Starrcade.
Oh, you did like that one.
Yeah, that's really...
You're a big Vader fan.
And that actually, technically, as you can see, it only had a 9.5, but I put it a few above a 10 out of 10 match.
Okay.
Just a personal preference thing. And then Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat, the Clash of the Champions match, which we did not watch, but...
The 55-minute one?
Yes, I assure you it's good.
Okay. Maybe, we'll see.
And then the Enforcers, Larry Zbyszko and Arn Anderson against Ricky Steamboat and Dustin Rhodes, the tag title match.
Okay, yeah.
Where Ricky Steamboat comes out in a huge dragon
That's right,
costume.
yeah. I remember that.
Magnum TA versus Tully Blanchard in the I Quit cage match.
I remember watching that one with you.
Where they stabs each other with pieces of wood.
Yep.
And then Ric Flair versus Ricky Steamboat, the Chi-Town Rumble. So the one where Ricky Steamboat wins.
Okay.
And then 3 is War Games from 1987. So the first one where it's the Horsemen versus Dusty, Nikita, Koloff, the Road Warriors.
Okay.
Then number 2 is Rey Mysterio.
Oh, that's right.
Jr.
Yeah,
versus Eddie
that's
Guerrero.
a really good one.
And then Sting Squadron versus Dangerous Alliance.
Yeah, good list.
So surprisingly, my top 3 kind of covers all 3.
It really
different
does.
eras.
Yeah. Well, you have 2 War Games in your top 3.
Right.
But that, like you said, that's
the
quintessential match. Then you have Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, which is another kind of must do for your top list. Cool.
Yep.
How many Ric Flair matches do you have?
I think it's 30.
Okay. Actually, that was going to be more.
Oh, 40. Oh, wait, Ric Flair. Yeah, 31. And then I think 33 because 4 Horsemen.
Gotcha. Yeah, it depends how you wrote
and
it out.
I'm sure Ricky Steamboat is he's
17.
17, but he's also in the number 1 match, so.
Yep.
18 matches, yeah. So, like I said, Ric Flair is definitely number 1 for the singles poll, and I think Ricky Steamboat might be 2. It's just his time is really short.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's only there for, like, his 1989 where he wins the title. He shows up in January, and he's done by July.
Yeah, that's a short run.
And, I mean, 3 of those 4 months, he's the world champ. So, it's not, he doesn't stick around to get lowered to, Dolph Ziggler opening the pre-show match status. If he's there, he's going to be important.
Oh, there you go. It's like a Brock Lesnar type, except not as juiced.
Yeah.
Cool. I like it.
So, your thoughts on WCW as we...
Yeah, I was thinking, no, it's
and again,
not as polished.
Right.
It's a hot mess, but it's like a lovable hot mess. Right. I missed The Undertaker. I missed Shawn. I missed Shawn Michaels. But then I got to get acquainted with the new cast of characters like Brian Pillman, Arn Anderson, who I didn't really care for.
Long-haired Steve Austin.
I'm trying to think. A lot of like Larry Zbyszko, a lot of Barry Windham, a lot of names. Yeah. Although I think of all those, I think Brian Pillman is probably my favorite, like wrestler. So yeah, it's good. Sting. I do like Sting. You're right. Got to see some Sting. So. You had a hot mess.
Yeah. And again, it's important to remember, like, with all this, you're watching the best of the best. Like.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And that's kind of what we're gonna look at in our next.
Oh, okay.
Our next month's installment, where I don't want to call it the worst of WCW because some of it's actually good. It's just the uniqueness of WCW. We'll call it. Some of it is horrible. Don't get me wrong.
Sure. Well,
but even like bad matches, I think are better than boring matches.
I was gonna say it'd still be entertaining.
Yeah, like I'd rather watch a 7-minute match with, let's just say randomly a giant and a mummy who's named the Yeti, butt fucking Hulk Hogan,
right?
Than like a 25-minute match between Arn Anderson and, Big Josh.
Big Josh.
Yeah, who would later become Doink the Clown.
Oh, okay.
We're going to watch a Big Josh match next time also.
Okay.
Mainly just for the ring entrances.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's... Yeah, I can see why it didn't last. It was... I understand.
Well, the reason it didn't last isn't really shown.
The quality.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just... It went from Turner to Time Warner to Time Warner AOL, and that by that point, the guy who was in charge of TNT didn't want wrestling on the shows anymore. Even though it was getting killed by Raw every week, but it was still TNT's highest rated show.
Gotcha.
Then
they got all the NBA finals. Do they still have the NBA finals? But that's 7 games.
Yeah, I mean they got
at the time it was
they
on
have
TNT.
NBA playoffs.
I thought it was.
But
anyways,
and that was only once.
Right, exactly.
2 months out of the year.
Right. Well, as Raw or Nitro every single Monday.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I'm looking forward to the little bit more of the wackier side, even more wackier side.
Yes.
Of WCW. But yeah, overall, like I said, good to kind of get some new faces.
Yeah,
and
I think it was enlightening, I think, in many ways.
It was.
Yep.
We can do stuff with monster trucks. Really, just the sky's the limit.
Yep.
Sky's the limit.
And you're Eric Bischoff and they have an open checkbook.
Yeah, exactly. He really
get
his imagination.
The Bigfoot creator from Bigfoot the monster truck and have him call the monster truck sumo match.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Get the kid from the Wonder Years to show up.
Oh, he's there all the time.
Oh yeah.
Jason Harvey running for high ground from Ric Flair.
All right, this was fun.
It was.
Good to go through the list, and see you guys next month.
Yep, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
darkness world stops turning. Ashes where the body's burning. No more war pigs have the power. And as God has struck the hour, day of judgment God is calling. On the knees the war pigs crawling, begging mercies for the sins. Satan laughing spreads his wings. Oh Lord,